everybody. Welcome back to the Brothers Take podcast. I'm Chris. I'm joined by my brothers Adam.
Hello.
And Eric.
Hello.
And it is also the return of Pagan from Pagan Plays and Pagan Reacts and the Tri-Channel and all those awesome things, which of course we will link in the description down below. Pagan, how are you?
What's up? I'm good, thank you very much. I'm just gonna stay hydrated.
Yeah, good. Wow, that is a very big cup.
It sure is.
Wow, massive. Well, we had said we had Pagan on before talking about horror games in 2023. Make sure to check that out. But we had said, we got to get Pagan back on, have a topic in mind, won't say it now. This was it. This is now the 20th anniversary of the third film in the greatest movie trilogy ever made.
Facts.
The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Holy shit! 20 fucking years. I remember seeing this in the cinema 6 times.
I'm still not over
you feel
it.
really old,
Not over it. Haven't moved on.
What? You haven't moved
No.
on? Adam, how many times did you see Return of the King in the cinema?
I think it was 5. I think it was 5 times.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that sounds right. Eric, do you remember?
Oh, I remember seeing it. Like, I thought for me it was 4 times.
Yeah,
I
think
remember
4 sounds about right. 4 sounds right.
I remember very specifically, though, going with Mom and her being like, when is this movie going to end? Because of the amount of endings to that movie.
Oh, yeah, the epilogues.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
That's fair.
Pagan, I know you got big into these much later. Did you see
did.
this in cinema?
You know what? Actually, funnily enough, yes, I did. And I went because it was my friend's birthday, and she was a big fan of like Orlando Bloom, and she took me to see The Return of the King. Obviously, I had no context. I was not into this film at all. I was just I don't have any like value in what's going on. I don't have any stress about what's going on. This is the worst film I've ever seen. I just don't know anything. So I ended up like plaiting my hair, and I think I fell asleep. And I was just like, I just don't get it. And then for years, I was like, I just don't get it. And then I was like such a big Harry Potter fan at the time. And I was just like, I would just rather watch the Harry Potter films, or I'd read the Harry Potter books and I'd be fine. And then I met this guy. And
we won't name him.
We won't name him. I met this guy, and he was like, "You've never seen Lord of the Rings?" And I was like, "No, it's stupid." And he was like, "Well, here's all of the bonus features." So I watched like 40 hours of bonus material, and I was like, all right, maybe I should watch these again. So we did. And now Return of the King is probably one of my favorite films of all time. It's just so good.
This is why we had to ask Pagan on, because that's a journey in and of itself. We will be sharing our fond memories of Return of the King, talking about all the amazing scenes in this movie. So just before the intro plays, spoiler alert for the Return of the King. If you're someone that hasn't seen it, maybe go watch it first. But if you have seen it, please do join in the discussion. Share your own thoughts, your own memories of Return of the King and the Lord of the Rings trilogy as a whole. We did do the 20th anniversary of Fellowship of the Ring. We did the 20th anniversary of the Two Towers. So this is the finale of that kind of anniversary trilogy. And just so you guys know, we will be talking extended edition. Okay?
Yes, let's go.
Because, we're not going to be like, oh, we can't talk about that scene because it's in the extended edition. You all know, if you've seen it, the extended edition is the official way to watch The Return of the King. The other two, not so much, I would say. I think that's fair to say. You take it or leave it with the other two. Return of the King,
I'd agree, yeah.
You have to watch extended. The scenes are pivotal. But guys, please, if you're watching this YouTube, drop down in the comments at any point to share your thoughts. If you enjoyed this discussion, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring the notification bell, all that good stuff. If you guys listen to us on audio platforms, you can touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twixter at The Brothers Take, again, to give your take on Return of the King. But without further ado, let's fucking go! Okay, there's only one way to start this. At the beginning, the intro. Each movie has a prologue sequence.
Yeah.
You know, the first movie, The Fate of the Ring. The second movie, The Fate of Gandalf. The third movie, The Fate of Smeagol. Of the three, this is my favorite prologue.
Really?
but I'd love to know what you guys
Really?
think. Yeah, and I get
Interesting.
that a lot. I get the really.
Huh,
I'll
interesting.
explain in a few minutes why, but I'd love to hear what do you guys think of the intro to Return of the King. Eric.
I remember as a kid, it scared the crap out of me because you had Gollum's like Smeagol's deterioration into Gollum, and I remember when the makeup department, it was really good for that scene of doing the transition. But I remember one of his particular ones just looked like a crawling corpse, and it was scary to me. So I remember that creeping the hell out of me. For 12's movies, they're very
Yeah, this film just starts up with straight up murder. Like
but
straight
quite
up
serious.
slow murder.
Yeah, even with the Nazgul though in the first one, like they're quite scary movies.
I would say they're at like a Christopher Nolan 12.
Yeah. And
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's still a really good, compelling, great intro. I think it's the weakest out of the three, though.
Interesting.
Ooh,
Okay.
interesting. What's your favorite one?
My favorite one would be the Fate of the Ring, because I
first,
just have such a love for lore drops. I mean, for me, the save, like one of the saving graces for the Eternals movie was just that moment of lore drop, even though it's so random, so out of place. But I was like, tasty lore drop.
Yeah.
But I think it's still a really good, compelling intro, and while being quite short, I have to shorten inverted commas because it's Lord of the Rings movies and they're all very long movies. So
yeah, of course.
In comparison to that other movie, it's short section and just tells you all of Smeagol's story. You don't need more, you don't need its own. You don't need a cinematic universe to tell Smeagol's story. Like, they're just telling this first opening sequence, and so very well done.
That's Pagan, what did you think of the opening of Return of the King?
Yeah, it's pretty dark, I have to say. And I kind of like that, though, because it starts so pleasant. The color grading is absolutely beautiful. It's such a sunny day. They're on the water. It's such a pleasant interaction between the two. And then it quickly changes. And the score is just incredible as it changes, because you can feel this like darkness rising almost. And it's just like, such a slow death. It kind of reminds me of, the slow death in like Saving Private Ryan with the knife.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing quick about this death. Like, it's just so slow and painful, and it's a struggle. And I think like it's such a jarring opening to like, it just 0 to 90 very quickly. So I thought that was really interesting. And then I think it really does settle in then how much the ring has power. And when I was younger and I didn't like Lord of the Rings, I just didn't get that. I didn't understand how this ring was supposed to have like made everybody so evil. Like, I just did not get it. But when you're older and you kind of understand what's going on, and like the metaphor and like the significance of what's happening and like the power the ring has, it kind of it settles much better. And I think this film does a really great job of solidifying all of that, of how much power this ring has. The first two, definitely strong, but the third film, I think, just really, really shows you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the opening. I think it's really cool. I do also like the transition from Smeagol, obviously, into Gollum, and like his transition. There's a fucking beautiful moment. I swore. I'm sorry. I think you can swear.
Oh, yeah.
So
Fucking work away.
I'm sorry. I did so well. We're like 4 minutes in. So there's this beautiful moment where the eyes get CGI'd as he closes his eyes, and then they CGI the big eyes that we see now. And it's just such a beautiful transition. And it's kind of so seamless. It still holds up today, like not quite as well, obviously, like technology has really come along. But I just think it's it was just such a good transition. I always remember that being like, wow, that was so cool that they just did that so seamlessly. So yeah, big fan.
It's wild.
Yes.
Adam.
Yeah, I think the jarringness of it really stood out, especially when you seen that for the first time. It does seem a little too happy, and you're like, what the hell's going on? Like that initial opening shot feels like, am I in the wrong film? Did I accidentally come into the wrong screen here? But it's such an important scene I'm glad they placed it there, because I think it's very clear that he was inspired by Bakshi in how they play that out in the kind of the shadow puppet killing of Deagle in that animated film. But that was done in the prologue of the whole film. They
Which, by the
obviously
way,
wanted
if you guys haven't seen the Bakshi animated Lord of the Rings movie, go watch
great
it.
for comparative reasons, for sure.
Is that a recommendation? I don't know.
I think so. I think if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you have to
something.
watch it. You have to watch it.
Yeah. Do yourself a favor.
My favorite scene in that film is when.
Shut the fuck up already, will you?
No. You know, the tree hunters are running after the Uruk-hai. Yeah. And was it John Hurt plays Aragorn, and he trips during that sequence, and the animated.
And they animated
the whole thing. It was obviously a mistake.
Yeah. That's like a Monty Python sketch, you know. It's like, and then the animator died.
Just left it in.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Sorry,
but it's clearly you know, there's a lot of inspiration came from that. But putting it here at the beginning of the third film, I think this is the right place to put it, because it's like really foreshadowing. It's warning what could happen to our hero, and
yes.
especially the conflicts
Hero.
in
go ahead.
with his friend.
We'll get into it.
On the stairs, for example, you're kind of wondering whether or not this could escalate. We've already seen what it did to our beloved Bilbo. We're now seeing what the power it has over. Like, we know now, this is the second Hobbit to fall to the power of the ring. At this moment, and it's kind of like just a reminder, like, you know, this thing can corrupt. So it's the right place to put it. It's a great sequence. It's not my favorite intro, but it's great.
No, everyone's gonna have their favorites. The reason it's my favorite, and you guys have kind of articulated it all yourselves, actually, is I think it does an excellent job of not only establishing where Smeagol came from and his character creation. I think you're dead on, Adam. This is the right place to put it. Like, if you read the books, that story is told in the Fellowship of the Ring at the Council of Elrond.
Yeah.
If you watch the animated film, it's during the prologue. They just do a whole big massive straight after the Last Alliance to tell the Gollum story. I think placing it here is a really good way to start the movie. It reminds us why we're here. As in, it's like, remember, like, okay, there's battles and wars and that's all terrible, but the ring is why we're really here. This is about destroying the ring, and this is why we're here to destroy it. This is what it'll do to people. And it does foreshadow that it's like, you know, this can turn best friends against each other in an instant. Frodo and Sam, their journey in this movie is incredible. And when they get to Mount Doom, you know, like, if you haven't read the book, which I had no idea how that was going to play out.
Yeah.
And I think that intro, Gollum's story, does a brilliant job at setting up the stakes of the journey and where it's going, and how they're going to fall to this ring. Actually, it's not going to end well.
It also helps justify why Frodo wants to save him, because it shows that actually
absolutely
he was once an okay fella.
Well, it's like his whole thing of like, and there's a great. We'll end up probably jumping around a lot. We're not going to talk about the movie in chronological order. Yeah. It's too long.
Yeah.
So some of these themes are going to just like carry through, but like at the end of the movie, you know, the start, the end. Frodo says, "How do you go back to your life?" and all that, blah blah. He has a big speech about it, and then he says, "You start to realize in your heart there is no going back." Right?
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, I had no idea what he was talking about, and he gets on the boat and he leaves, and you know, people say, "Does Frodo die at the end?" No, he doesn't die, but he does leave. It's like, well, actually, Frodo does die.
He does die.
And the journey, the quest, as Galadriel says, the quest will claim his life. He will not come back, and if he does come back, he's not the same. And his whole thing, he knows it. He's on the quest. He knows that his journey isn't going to end well. And when he's like, he says in the Two Towers of Sam, I have to believe that he can come back about Gollum.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for Gollum's sake, really. Yes, he takes pity on him. It's not for Gollum's sake, though. It's like, I have to believe he can come back, because if he can't, maybe I can't either.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at this thing every night, and I can't get it out of my head. And it's getting heavier, and I fucking love this thing, and I want to put it on, and I don't really want to destroy it, actually. So it's the whole thing is like, is he what I'm going to become?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, for me, it's the perfect intro, because it's really mirroring where this journey is going with Frodo and Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Sam.
Sam is the true hero, man.
Oh my god. Let's talk about Sam. Let's get him out of the way. Let's do it now because he's just.
I love Sam.
I remember as some people. Our mom actually came out of the cinema kind of pissed off that he did so much because she was like, "That's ridiculous. Sam did everything," you know.
Yeah, I hate Frodo. I think like Frodo is just. Oh God, the amount of eye rolling I have whenever Frodo does something or says something, I'm like, oh, for God's sake. Whereas I love Sam.
Yeah.
Like Sam is like such a true and hardy hero that I'm like, Sam, you're a bit of a pushover. Like you deal with too much, sir. Like enough is enough, you know. Take care of yourself, Sam.
Yeah.
Have a bit of self-care,
Get
self-love.
some therapy.
He's too much. Like I love him, but at the same time, I'm like, bruh, Frodo's a dick. Push him into the volcano.
This is a toxic relationship.
It is. It's so toxic.
He does all the
Poor
fucking...
Sam. When he's like, what the fucking moment when he's like, I'm saving the lambus spread for the journey back. I'm like, oh, Sam, you're killing me. Just
Sam's
kill
amazing.
this guy and have the bread yourself. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Go home, Sam.
When I was a kid, I was more interested in like Aragorn's quest and his journey, and I wanted to be Aragorn. He's so cool, you know. The older I get, the more I realize how heroic Sam is.
Yeah.
Sam is the hero of the story, really. The quest would not have Frodo would have died long ago or failed long ago without Sam. Like it really would. Like Sam had to go with him. It's pivotal that he did, or that there's no way the ring would have got destroyed.
Yeah.
Not a hope. And I don't know if Sam is like. Is he impervious to the ring? Like, is he... like there is that scene where he has
there is a moment,
right?
yeah, there is that moment where he's kind of tempted, and you hear that score again, like that threatening score.
That audio design for the ring is so good.
Like, there's definitely, and you can see it in Sean Astin's face. Like, he's clearly thinking about it. He's like, he's weighing up the options as Sam, and is like, okay, well, I better give to him. But you can also read that, which I think is where Adam and Eric is coming from.
Yeah.
I think Adam and Eric are reading it as he's really hesitating to give Frodo the ring because he's like, I think Frodo's a little fucked up right now.
A little too desperate.
I feel like maybe
I love that
he
scene.
have the ring.
I think that's the great thing about that scene. It's not clear.
It's very
not
much
clear.
Willem Dafoe interviewing Christian Bale in American Psycho. You have no idea. Like,
yeah.
It's
You
the
don't know how
way
it's
that
gonna go.
shot. You're kind of like, does he know? Does he know? I think he knows. I'm not sure actually.
Yeah. Well, I felt that way about they do a similar thing in the first movie when Frodo is staring at the ring on the tablet and he's holding his head and everyone else is arguing around. He can see the reflection in the ring and the sound design goes wild and the way he's staring at it, and then he gets up and he says, I will take it.
Yeah.
It is not clear.
Is that him or the ring?
Is he being brave in that moment, saying, I will take the ring and I'll destroy it? Or has the ring convinced him, take me to Mordor?
Yeah. You're the guy that'll do
good
it.
point.
You'll take me back.
He's the only one looking at it. It's kind of in a straight looking at him. Everyone else is.
I think that's the beautiful
I mean?
thing about the ring in itself. It's like, okay, so is Sam strong enough to be able to resist it, or does the ring know actually I'm closer getting back home if he hands me back to Frodo?
Yeah.
Yes.
The ring also has its end. Like, out of everyone to choose though in that room of the Council of Elrond, I mean, the first time he chose a hobbit, he was with her for like 500 years. Then the next time he chose a hobbit, he was with her for like 80 years. He should probably stop keeping hobbits, because I think in the books when he chooses Frodo,
well, that's why he chose
Bilbo,
Bilbo, isn't it? Because it's like, well, I'm not getting anywhere with this fucking chap, so I mean, this is my way out of here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he ends up in his pocket in Hobbit, and he's like, for fuck's sake, just bring me back.
The ring is opportunistic, but it doesn't know where it's going to end up. You know, it
The
just
ring
knows where it
wasn't
wants
wanting to go back, though. The ring was waiting for Sauron, a power to rise in the
That's
east.
true. It needed to be in hiding in a place where
it was waiting in Hobbiton. It wasn't hiding, or like, well, it was hiding, but like it wasn't trying to get back to Mordor.
Not
It
yet.
was hiding. It was lying
until it was time, until it's heard its master's call.
That's right.
They do a wonderful job with audio design and everything in making the ring a character.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
And in this one in particular, I think like it always was in
this
all the movies, but and it's terrifying what it does to people. You know, that's the thing about it. But yeah, Sam gets to do some cool shit, and he makes me cry every time I see this movie.
I love him.
One scene in particular, one scene makes me cry.
Is it the Rosie one?
Fuck me, man.
Yeah.
He gets me every time.
The Rosie scene, yeah. Oh, I know.
He's on the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
Lava's coming out. They've just done it. They've done the quest. He has been through hell to get here. And then he mentions Rosie, and he says, if I were ever to marry someone, it would have been her. And he breaks down crying, and it's that moment of, he's just like, I'm going to die here on this mountain.
Yeah.
This is the end of my life.
Yeah.
And no one will even know that he did it.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, no one will know that, like, okay, the Fellowship knows Sam went with him, but no one will really know that.
No one will sing songs about Sam. They will sing songs about Frodo.
Yeah, no one will know what Sam went through.
That's why Sam...
For the world!
Yeah.
That's why Sam is the hero, because
Sam
a hero
is the hero.
is not someone who's going to put themselves at the forefront. He's not doing it for fame. He's doing it because it's the right thing.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Do you know? Are we giving Frodo a tough time here?
I don't like Frodo. He's just a whiny.
I know you don't like him, but like, is it his fault that he's that way though? Like, I mean, the ring. We don't know how bad that ring is. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, Boromir was also tempted by the ring.
He was.
Yeah, and I feel like he's less of a whiny bitch than Frodo. So
I don't know. He's
pretty aggressive though.
Yeah, but he's not a whiny bitch. He
deals with it in a different way.
Yeah, he just in a different way.
Is it because Frodo's too whiny? Is that what it is? Is that the thing?
I think so. I think like Frodo does a lot of like, and I think it's in part like Elijah as well, where he just does a lot of these like dreamy eye looking like vacant things where he's like so poetic and I'm like, bruh, shut up. Like, shut up. Shut up. Like, he treats Sam like shit. And I'm like, this man is the only person who stuck with you. And, like, by force, by the way. You wanted to go off on your own. And he was like, nah, I'm going to help you because you're definitely going to die without me. And that was so true. And so many times. Ugh. But Sam's the best. I just think I just hate Frodo because of how he treats Sam. I'm like,
but that's the ring, though, isn't it?
Somebody.
He's is it Frodo? Like shit because of the ring.
Is it? Because I feel like Frodo probably treats him like shit at home, and Sam's just like, yeah, let's just take it because Sam's best friends.
I don't think so. Because like,
you don't think so, Adam?
No. Yeah, I mean, Frodo was always like trying to encourage Sam to go on, ask Rosie for a dance, and don't worry, Sam. Rosie knows an idiot when she sees one, and
I want to hear.
He was looking out for him. He was his buddy.
Songs about Sam. I'm more interested in him. He says at the end of Two Towers.
Yeah, he goes, Frodo wouldn't have got far without Sam.
He acknowledges.
He does, and yet he still treats him like shit.
Yeah. But it's the ring, though, right? It's the ring. I don't know. I know, but like, no, I hear what you're saying because, like, definitely, and even as a kid, I was like, man, this Frodo guy, like, it's like, I'd like to be anyone else in the Fellowship.
Yeah,
so
the same.
In the schoolyard when we were picking who we were playing as, nobody wanted to be Frodo, so that's kind of telling, you know.
Yeah. Well, as a kid, like, their story is very boring. It's not
their
that
story is still very boring. I don't love their story. But I love the other Fellowship like trying to save them. I actually think that's way more action packed and so much more interesting. In fact, my favorite parts of the Return of the King have nothing to do with Sam and Frodo. But I would agree with you, Eric. Like, I just think that their story is terribly boring and it wouldn't be appealing to anybody as a kid.
Especially the Two Towers. The Two Towers is their most boring story.
Facts.
The Return of the King, obviously. Yeah, but Merry and Pippin aren't Frodo and Sam.
Yeah, Merry and Pippin are great.
What I mean is like, which is the more boring sequences of the Two Towers.
You know what? Do you know what?
This Frodo and Sam.
For me, actually, it would be Merry and Pippin, as I forgot about them when I was comparing.
Because I think that whole sequence through Ithilien is just such an amazing sequence in the Two Towers.
No, I think Frodo and Sam's story definitely picks up with the third one, especially when you're getting to.
I think it's incredible.
Shelob,
yeah, when they reach Mordor, it's very good. Yeah, true.
Oh my god,
the entire Mount Doom sequence.
Can we talk about Shelob for a second?
Just 1v1 that one, yeah.
I mean, we can.
You certainly got a lot of XP for that one.
When I came out of the cinema after seeing Return of the King, right, and I'm an arachnophobe. You've no idea how many times anywhere I walked, I looked up.
Did that genuinely
The
scare
Shelob?
you as an arachnophobe?
Yes. Not in the cave. Not in the cave at all.
No.
Not like with the webs and
When she
everything.
came down
'Cause
outside.
When
she
she
was
comes
like-
outside and you start seeing her
Yeah.
full body, and when
Yeah.
she's slowly crawling above him.
Yes.
Yeah, so we were discussing that
Terrified.
because we were
Terrified.
watching it during the week, and
Yeah.
I was saying how like because like I'm arachnophobe as well. I would have been worse when I was younger. Not too bad now, but
Sure.
I just didn't find Shelob scary at all. I was able to
Okay.
watch it with ease, no problem. In fact, I'm the same with The Hobbit. I can watch it no problem. It's the Harry Potter is a different story. I think they've nailed the giant
They are,
spider.
yes,
Yeah,
they are
or-
scarier,
yeah.
I
for
think
sure.
I think it's because right. I agree. I think that
Mhm.
sequence where Shelob kind of just comes out. It's because Shelob is silent, and I think all the screeching and growling, it just doesn't seem spider-like to me. I just don't think spiders really squeal. And
Yeah,
I
and
understand like it's a monster,
Yeah,
but like
it's a monster, right?
well, I
It's
think
a-
what
yeah.
makes spiders terrifying is the fact that you don't hear them, and all of a sudden you look on your shoulder and there's one on it. Like it's how quick they are, and
Yeah,
and
it's
it's the
a-
stealth aspect certainly
100%.
makes Shelob scary.
I think, and that's why that scene was the scene that scared me, and none of the rest of it.
Yeah,
And like Jesus, I'm fine now. Like I can watch, like it doesn't bother me anymore. But I just remember at that age being terrified and constantly looking up all the time out of fear that there's something big above me stalking me. Like it just really stuck with me. It freaked the fuck out of me. But I love the way they build up Shelob. I think it's really cool that they really have this moment of like, oh, you know, like Gollum keeps saying we could let her do it, and we need to go into the cave, and they big up this monster, so it's kind of legendary before you even get there.
Good payoff.
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
I think so. Jesus. Like Gollum looked great in the Two Towers, but like you're like in the space of a couple of months, what the hell? Like, you know, between putting these movies out, like it comes out a year later, and Gollum looks even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just
it's
well,
incredible.
that's
Looks
the
incredible.
computer work across the board is just like because
Amazing.
goes through the roof with the amount of CGI creatures and shots in it. The amount of sequences in it that are done CGI.
Also, there's just a ridiculous level of attention to detail because even with Shelob, you can actually see like some of the like because she's not a full hairy spider.
Yeah.
But you can actually see in certain moments of light, you can see a few little strands of hair sticking up, and the same with Gollum as well. And even to that level of detail back 20 fucking years ago, and today they can't CGI a floating kid's head.
Pagan, you mentioned that the Frodo and Sam stuff's not necessarily your favorite thing
Yes.
in the movie. What is?
Listen, the Rohirrim is like so close to my heart. I love the Rohirrim. Everything about King Theoden and Eowyn, Eowyn's story is fucking like one of the best storylines in the entire film. Like I just love
boss level.
Yeah, that she's just like, I'm not gonna sit back. I'm gonna go fight alongside is it her uncle? Yeah, her uncle. And she just wants to go fight for her family and for those who that she loves. And I'm like, this is such a boss move. And then she like rips off her helmet. She's like, I am no man, and then like kills the Witch King. Are you kidding me? So good. Anyway, sorry. So anything Eowyn and Rohirrim related, I love, but also, Aragorn and like the trio, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli going through to the passage where the undead are, or like the ghosts in the army. Love that whole sequence. I love that they got them on board. I love that like he went in and was like, you want to fight for me? And then they were all like, oh no. And then they like, you know, did the Homer Simpson meme where they just
yes
they disappear. And then like right afterwards, like we see them just lose all hope when they see all of the ships coming in across the river, and they're just like, we're gonna lose, it sucks. And that moment when the king comes out and he's like, we fight, I'm like, yes, let's go. So all that, love it. That's all of my favorite sequences. Anything to do with the Rohirrim. The battle sequence outside of Minas Tirith, I think is fucking incredible. Like inside Minas Tirith is pretty cool, but I just love everything that goes on outside. When the Mumakil enter and then the Rohirrim are there, it's just what a great time. So all of those.
There's a lot of moments in that whole film.
All that.
Basically every part of the film except Frodo and Sam.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of moments in that film though where it's like like the Helm's Deep sequence where it's like, we are really gonna lose. Like, we are completely
Yeah.
outnumbered, and they went, here's some elves, and then you're grand. And then, but this whole film is that it's like, we are fucked. And it's like, but then there's like, here you go, but also, but then.
Yeah, totally.
I like when we, when everyone came out of seeing the Two Towers, all we could talk about was Helm's Deep. It was like the most amazing cinematic battle we'd ever seen. Like, it was just incredible, absolutely incredible. And then for them to go, oh, did you like that? and to just like,
here's a whole movie of that.
here's a movie of that on a much larger scale.
Yeah.
Minas Tirith, the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, it's just the most epic cinematic set piece ever.
Yeah.
It's paced well. There's character moments happening. There's epic battles happening. The music is incredible.
The music when it's not playing is incredible.
Just so
everything
good.
about the sound design is just fantastic.
And do you remember? Was it last year's Oscars? They added some weird category that had no fucking time frame. It was just like a movie highlight or something like that, and they had like the Flash stopping time or Neo dodging bullets, random scenes, and I don't think they had what should have been the winner. The Ride of the Rohirrim.
Yes.
After Theoden gives that speech, and the music plays, and they ride into that is the most epic moment.
Yeah.
Ever.
Fun fact, right? That score is just so beautiful. Fun weird fact. About people on the brother's take. I was going to choose that score, that particular sequence of them riding down the hill into battle as my aisle song for my wedding.
Fuck yeah.
Because actually the music is quite hopeful, but there's also this tone of like, oh, like it's probably not gonna...
yeah. Is she gonna actually get up there?
Yeah, no. So like the tone of the score is actually quite hopeful and quite beautiful. Whereas the other times that the Rohirrim soundtrack or the theme plays, at points the song goes down rather than up, so that
it's very sorrowful.
Right, it's quite sorrowful. So I was like, oh, this would be really cool. And then I was like, context though. Because everyone else would be like, this is a nice piece of music. And Adam's like going to be like, the fucking Pelennor Fields? Where are we going? We're like, what's going on?
Yeah. Adam would clench his fists and
entering into battle? I don't understand.
What's happening? I will punch you.
I'm ready for this fight.
I'm ready for battle. I'm ready.
I don't know. Maybe in hindsight, it probably would have been a better choice. I don't know. But I chose a different Rohirrim theme.
Is it true that Bernard Hill improvised the speech?
It was his idea. I don't know if he improvised it, but it was his
idea,
and then I think he worked with the writers to try and work through that.
It's excellent.
It's so good. And I actually have to say, because Adam and I were watching this the other night, and I thought it was so funny because just before we see the Rohirrim enter, and then King Theoden does his speech, we also see obviously the attack on Minas Tirith, and Gandalf is like, "Get ready for battle," and like you are you are the king, like kings of Gondor or whatever. And I was like, the fuck is that, Gandalf? Like, what the fuck is that? Just stand your ground. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Like, and then like
super hyped.
To be honest, he didn't say that though. Them fucking Gondorian soldiers just do not know how to war.
Yeah,
they keep running in the opposite direction. It's like, this way. It's like, oh, no, okay.
And then they go, oh, all right. Yeah. Oh, is that where the gate is?
Yeah.
Oh,
shit. No,
yeah.
I think obviously this is in the extended cut, because the scenes are slightly different in the theatrical cut, but that moment where like the Witch King breaks Gandalf's staff, Gandalf is fucked. Witch King had already said earlier on in the movie, I will break him.
Yeah.
And I believe him. And he's about to, and he raises the sword, and you hear the horn of Rohan, and the sun comes through the clouds, and it's like a fucking painting when they come on top of that hill. Unbelievable.
I do have to question though, like, why the Witch King? So the Witch King like broke his staff, right? Gandalf is vulnerable, probably the most vulnerable he will ever be.
Yeah.
This is your moment. This is your time. And you hear the Rohirrim horn. You couldn't just be like, all right, give me 2 seconds, guys. Eat this guy first, and then like there was such a I'll be back, Gandalf, and then left, and I'm like,
Honestly,
choice as a
looking
villain?
through his career, I think the Witch King has made some pretty poor decisions.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah. It's probably not the best. Like
Probably shouldn't have
commander.
taken that ring.
Yeah,
To be
sure.
honest.
No.
Fair.
Yeah. That's where. Yeah. Big mistake.
Yeah.
Oh
Big
god.
That was his
mistake.
downfall, really.
World
All
War
went
Ring.
down.
Never
Well,
again.
Yeah, don't
Let
do
me
it.
tell you.
It's a learning curve, you know.
Yeah.
I think
Fine.
the other moment that really like
He'll know
goes
for
on
next time.
par with the Ride of the Rohirrim, because
Oh, motherfucker.
it's fucking everything, isn't it? It's like it's the
Well,
way it's
yeah.
shot, it's the
Oh, yeah.
music,
It's
it's
absolutely
all of it,
everything.
right? The
Yeah.
Yeah.
lighting of the beacons. What? It's like Howard Shore. I just want you to play some normal music here. The fucking beacons are being lit. It's like no worries. Don't worry, son. I've got this. It's just the most insane string moment. Ah,
Yeah, it's actually
Yeah.
true.
I-
it's actually one of my favorite moments in the film.
So true.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I agree with you that Howard Shore fucking brings it.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That is not on par with the Ride of the
I
Rohirrim.
think it is. I fucking ask any
The lighting
learning.
of the beacons.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great scene. Don't get me wrong.
That's
I-
incredible.
Because it gets you pumped.
Yeah.
It brings you on the journey to get pumped, as with each beacon being lit.
Well, it's pumping you.
Yeah.
It's fucking
To the
amazing.
point that you know,
Fucking
Doing it
firing.
for you. Yeah.
to the point
I-
that you know that this is building to the Rohirrim coming, and then it does, and the Rohirrim go, and then
There
we
is
get that
another.
moment.
I know that. Look, this movie won a fuckload of Oscars when it came out. One of them being Best Direction, right? And there's so many scenes in it that are masterfully put together, like lighting of the beacons and the Ride of the Rohirrim, all these incredible scenes. Even the beginning with Smeagol. There's another scene that I just think is absolutely masterful, and it's when Pippin is singing to Denethor
Oh,
as
as they ride into
Faramir and the
Asgiliath.
Gondorians are riding towards Osgiliath. The music is nearly absent, but
Yeah.
is slowly coming in. There's these strings. It's dark and foreboding. Pippin's singing a song that, if you take the lyrics on its own, it could be a very like folky kind of song. Like it's not necessarily, but when you pair it with the imagery and the context and the pacing of that scene, it is harrowing
Yeah.
and it's beautiful.
John Noble
in a
did
horrible
such
way.
an amazing job of playing an asshole.
I
John
saw a
Noble
post.
is so good. I hate him now. Like
I literally saw a
Denethor
post
so much.
yesterday at time of recording, and I don't know if this was like some website and they were ranking their own characters, but there was a post and it said Denethor from Return of the King voted second most hated character of all time.
So true. He's up there with Joffrey. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my god.
Ah, right,
I
yeah.
hated Denethor, but I think John Noble does such a beautiful job. And like,
It's
what
amazing.
a gent in all of like the behind the scenes feature. Like, what a nice guy. But oh man, did I want to kill him?
He's
I love that
very
they never
good.
explain it.
Why he's a dickhead?
What
Yeah.
do you mean they don't explain it? He's just power mad.
Well, that's the thing. Like, okay, so that's probably one interpretation of it, I guess. But any other film, I think, would give you that backstory as to like why he's being mean.
Okay, what's
And here
the
they
backstory?
just don't. Well, it's yeah. I think that's what's great about it, is that you can just kind of leave it up to interpretation as to why he hates Faramir so much.
Well, because Barmir. Well, oh, I see. Oh,
Like-
interesting. I assumed, like, I just assume stuff. Like, I assume that
Mhm.
like Barmir is obviously the firstborn,
Mhm.
and that
Yes.
Faramir is the secondborn, but is probably not as strong or like as dedicated as Barmir, but also something potentially with their mom. There's no mention of their mother, so I
Mm,
assume
so I love
maybe
about it.
in childbirth that Faramir ended up like being born. His mother died shortly after. I have no idea if that's true. I just assumed that.
Yeah,
but that's what I love
kind of
about
right
it.
with you, but yeah, it's not confirmed. I hear you saying Faramir is not strong, and I think Faramir has strength of a different kind, and one day his father will see.
And
actually,
to be honest, it'll burn him to admit it.
Hey.
I really like Faramir's arc in this movie.
Love
I think
Faramir. Oh my god, what a
Yeah.
dreamy man. I love him.
Yeah, I love that too.
And then Eowyn, you know, like it's such a beautiful, like, and you know, Eowyn is sick and she's like healing in hospital, and there he is. He's just standing in the door, and he's like,
Yeah, she
so
finds-
freaking beautiful.
She finds discount version of Aragorn. She goes,
She's
"Oh, well,
with
he'll
Aragorn.
do it."
Wish Aragorn.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I think we have one of
I
these at
think
home.
he's like, I think they're such a good match, honestly. They're such a good pairing.
They are. It's a shame. Look, the movie's trying to do so much.
Mhm.
It is a shame that
There's not more of that story.
yeah, that there's no real building on that.
Mm.
They just sort of meet each other and then they're together, you know. But I suppose it's just so that at the end when you see them together, you're not like, what the fuck? When did that happen?
I feel like it's implied though. Like I feel like it's implied that it's taken months and that they're both healing together in whatever hospital or medic center that they have.
Of course.
So I feel like they've done well with the snippets we got. It would have been cool to
yeah.
see more of it, but at the same time, like it's not their love story that we're interested in, really. It's just a nice way to end, like to wrap their story. I think.
Frodo and Sam's love story. That's what it's burning hot.
That's
love
what
story
you're here. Yeah.
Frodo and Sam.
It's on fire, practically. Yes, some would say.
Practically, yes, of course. Yeah.
Looking at
ring,
climbing it.
But yeah, no. If Faramir is a great character, everything that's going on in Gon, like when you first see Minas Tirith, and like you go back and watch the other movies, you have seen it before, but you haven't seen it. You know,
You've
what I mean?
actually
You haven't
seen
it.
Gandalf walking the streets in the first film,
but you don't cop it because this time they give you the grand like. Ba, ba, ba,
yeah, but they actually give you the Gondor. They give you the Minas Tirith music as well in the first movie, and then they just build up. It's fucking nuts because I was like, "Wow, that city is so cool! I've never seen that before." And then go back and Fellowship of the Ring, and it's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
it's like they planned it all along.
Keeps on giving.
Yeah, and we did mention Denethor. I think John Noble is a masterful actor in the movie. The little eye twitches that he's doing are incredible. Like, and you're like, this guy is off his rocker. You know, this guy is this guy's lost his fucking mind. Like, he hasn't a clue what he's doing. He's absolutely. It's like, yeah, he's power hungry. Yeah, he's stricken with grief, but he's also just totally paranoid.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he's getting
absolutely. Everyone's out to get him. Apparently, like he's just out of his mind.
Totally.
That's one of the things I love about the film as well. Like, well, all three of them is just it gives you a snippet of extra lore without actually going in and giving you a full explanation of everything. Enough for you, like if you're like within the context of the film, it works without you knowing. But if you're curious, you can jump into the appendices of the movies or dive into the books. That's the same thing as when you're reading the books. There's like a mention of a character, and you go, "Who the hell is that?" Hop into the appendices, figure it out. The film does that too. So the mention of the eyes at the White Tower, for example, I just absolutely love that because I think that alone and the way he says it tells you everything about his psyche and the way he's ended up.
Oh yeah, and that he's constantly on the lookout, and he's like,
and he's getting the wrong information.
And he gets up and he's like, the rule of Gondor belongs to me.
Yes.
Like, I'm never gonna bow to some fucking ranger or anything. Like no one's taken that throne. Because I've done this my whole life, and no one's taking it from me now. And it's like, whoa, dude, calm down. You're a steward, He's probably really pissed off that he has to sit in that little seat.
Looks uncomfortable, to be fair,
Yeah, to be fair, like.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if the other one looks any better.
Yeah, the other one's just higher up. I think it's just
awkward. Now you have more steps to
climb.
What
if you need to pee? It's just awkward.
It's a whole ordeal.
There might be a little gutter on the side, though. It's grand.
It goes down and just stains
onto the second
one. We don't see it, but there's an actual hole in that seat.
Yeah.
This is the beautiful side of Lord of the Rings that we don't get. It's in the extended.
That's what I want to know is like what's
Aragorn's political policies, I mean, like,
and their sanitary conditions of Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, of all the scenes that you could cut from Return of the King theatrical edition, how could you cut Saruman's sequence?
Yeah.
You're also a bit pissed at that, though, to be fair.
Understandably.
I'd be pissed at that too.
Understandably. I came out, it was like one of the most amazing films I'd ever seen, but I mean, the question was, whatever happened to Saruman? Like, he's pivotal in the movies. And actually, then when you see that scene, you're like, oh my god.
Amazing. And what a death. Like, I love when villains get like such good deaths. Like Denethor's death is such a good death for that villain. Because you feel justified as a viewer to be like, yeah, burn, you bastard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow, you've got some stamina.
It's the same with Saruman.
It's a bit of a distance,
when he dies, it's like, oh, fucking amazing. What?
Yeah.
He has to run.
He ran a long way.
Out of the halls of his ancestors or his forefathers, cross a bridge, and then to run across the entire plateau.
All the way up to the White Tower, and then
it's incredible that he got that far, but he's got a thick coat, so.
There's a lot to burn there, I guess, yeah.
thick with two C's.
Yeah,
thick coat.
C's.
He was burning at both ends, but I thought Saruman's sequence when you get to see it in the, the full movie really. Not only is he great in it, like and what they do with his voice, his booming voice, and the way he talks to the characters, and he refuses to admit that he's fucked. Like, and he's just like, you're all fucked. And
it's so like, because my favorite character, I think, in the trilogy is Theoden, and it's Theoden's final. Well, one of his final lines to Eowyn. That breaks me every fucking time. I can't watch that without tearing up. But that is cemented in that moment with Saruman.
Yeah.
It's like, it kind of doesn't really hit until it's like, it's in that moment when Saruman tells him that he's a lesser king.
You are a lesser son of greater sires or something. Is that it? Or
you can see in his face the moment where he's just like, and when Aragorn says to him, "Look, Gondor calls for aid," like that's the moment where he kind of goes, "Actually, you know what? Yeah, we can do this."
Yeah.
But that has obviously been lingering with him, because like Eowyn, when all the men are celebrating in the bar, and like Eowyn
wasn't
comes
him.
up to him, and he says, it was not Theoden who led our men to victory. And, like, he thinks so little of himself as a king, and you're like, oh man, come on, you're not that bad.
I know.
Have you met that Denethor dude?
although like, as great as the character Theoden is, and clearly if you're wanting to win an Oscar, you put Bernard Hill in the movie and have him die. But he's depressing as shit.
Love it.
Yes.
Love him.
Like, oh no, he's great. It's a great performance, great character. But like, even with the Two Towers, I think it's like Gimli tells his joke, he falls off the horse, Eowyn is there laughing, Aragorn is smiling. Theoden then goes, yes, here's some really depressing information to give you. And Aragorn's like, oh, for fuck's sake, man, I was enjoying my ride.
His face literally goes from a smile to like, it just dropped like things. Like, it's been a while since I've seen her smile. She was only a little girl when her parents were killed, like, dude, what are you doing?
I know, yeah.
we're all like chill, will you? But although there is so there's a scene in each movie that makes me cry. Right? In each movie that makes me cry every time. I've already told you about the Sam one on the side of the mountain. Fucks me up every time, right? I believe in the Fellowship, it is when Frodo hears Gandalf saying, so do all who live to see such times. He gets the ring, he goes to the boat, the music swells. That always gets me. In the Two Towers, it is Theoden, actually, and it's when he says no parent should have to bury their child.
That's rough.
Oh yeah. And then she sings.
It is so rough.
Stop.
He drops to his knees. The music, it's just. But you're right, Adam. His performance is fucking incredible in the movie.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Eowyn is so good.
It's amazing how in this movie, with these trilogy of movies, and when you get to Return of the King, you pretty much have every single character in the movie that has
some serious ensemble, like
and to be all
medieval
different.
Avengers.
But to all be different, like, is also nuts.
Yeah, true.
That they're all such unique, interesting characters. Like, fair fucks them to be able to like do that.
It's a good one.
I think as well they do such a fucking incredible job at the Battle of the Black Gate, right?
Yeah.
It always seems a bit rushed. That it's like, let's just go do another battle, and they just get there. But when the music swells, when the troll is pinning Aragorn down, at the same and Legolas is trying to get to him, and at the same time the mountain is all fucked up. Sauron turns to look at the mountain. The Nazgul fly over because Frodo has said the ring is mine. The orchestra swells and Sam's like, no, and it's like, I remember seeing that for the first time. I go, what's going to happen? Like, what the fuck is going to happen? It's so good. It's masterful. Like, it's so dark, and you just on the edge of your seat of like, how is this gonna end? And then of course Gollum taking them on. Like,
I was so frustrated with that ending though, because like as soon as they're walking up the mountain, I'm like, okay, they're here. They're finally here. This is what we've all waited for. And then like Gollum comes out of nowhere, and I was like, this motherfucker, didn't you die? Go away. You're so annoying. And then they get up to the thing, and I'm like, oh, you know what? It's great. It's fine. They're here now. And then Frodo's like, no, I had to keep it for my own. And I was like, oh, you son of a bitch. I was like, this is the most frustrating thing ever. Poor Sam must be nearly having a heart attack. Sam must be so fucking up to here with this shit right now. He'd be like, you could throw that in the fire. I did knock him all this
I
way.
will take us right back home.
Just put that thing in the fire. Like, so annoying. And
put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
Yeah, basically. It keeps doing that. Gollum appears, tries to stop them. Then Frodo's like, no, I'm going to keep the ring. Then Gollum appears again. Then they have this fight. Then the ring falls into the lava, but sits on the lava. And I was like, this is the most frustrating ending I've ever had. I was like,
waiting, you're like, is it gonna melt? Is it gonna melt?
I remember seeing that in cinema going, oh my god, thank fuck. Because it's like trying to squeeze as much out of this film as possible. Yeah, it was actually, that was such a, I was really conflicted when watching that for the first time, that whole end. I suppose it's not really the end, but it felt like the end at that time.
It's like
the end of that story.
Yeah, it's the climatic battle.
Yeah,
it's the climatic battle.
Because I was like, I was so aware that this is the last one, and that I won't get this again. And I'm like, when that just sits on this lava, I'm like, yes, I'm gonna squeeze a few more fucking minutes of battle out of this.
Yeah. But and it's. I also just love it that it doesn't just go in and just melt instantly, because I feel like that would be slightly anticlimactic. I like that it sits there because it's such a powerful weapon.
In
like,
that moment, man.
Yeah, and like they've tried hitting it with things before and everything, and like nothing. So it's like, you know, the lava kind of has to set in, like it has to heat it up and melt it. You know, it can't be so instant. And I don't know how it actually goes down in the book. I haven't read the book. I don't know how that end sequence actually goes down between Frodo and Gollum and Sam, or like whether they did it fairly accurate or what. But I love the idea that the ring destroyed itself.
Mm-hmm.
Not on purpose, but like nobody actually threw it in. They were just fighting over it.
I mean, I feel like...
And fell in.
Okay.
So none of that, like, well, Sam probably would have done it. Like, he was in a pretty good frame of mind. But Frodo and Gollum, neither of them would have put it in at that point.
I think Adam has made a good point here recently when we were watching it, was that like the ring has only got control over a person when it's like in their possession type thing. Like it can only really control that person in the circumstances, right? So like Frodo, and then he wants to keep the ring, and then he wants to survive and all this. But being confronted by two people fighting over the ring is something without control. So it's something that the ring can't control. The ring has like fucked itself over here because it's so desirable that people will literally like cut throat to get it. Yeah. That it's just thrown the ring into an uncontrollable situation, and that's how it gets thrown off the thing. So I don't think the ring had any control over that. I just think that it's interesting the effect that it had on the two people at the same time in that position. You know?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, like I don't think the ring designed that moment. But as a result, it inadvertently destroyed itself.
In the book,
because of the effect that it had on the two characters.
Through its own fault, basically,
yeah. Evil undid itself, basically. By being too greedy, by being too possessive, too controlling, it destroyed itself. And it's like, and that's what evil does. It destroys all things, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's not to say, oh, you know, don't worry about evil in the world. It'll sort itself out. But it is to say that no good can come from evil. It'll always destroy. So,
true.
And I just think it's kind of beautiful that in that moment, that's how it goes down, is that it affected people so much that it inadvertently destroyed itself.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful moment.
The only thing I will say about because like I assume you're going to move on to a different like topic or moment here.
Yeah.
There's one thing that always brings me out of this film.
Oh.
And it's the scene in Osgiliath where the orcs attack the Gondorians. Look, love it. Beautiful scene. Wonderfully executed. In the heavy mist, and they're so quiet, and I love that. It's so great, so great. There's one extra. Just one extra. And he runs in front of camera, and the helmet or mask or whatever they've given that person is way too big for them.
Right.
Like, I don't know if anybody else knows the character I'm talking about, but it's just basically so obvious this mask is just a mask, and it brings me out every time, and I'm like, that
An
is
orc,
so
you mean?
funny. Yeah, one of the orcs. Yeah,
Oh, I
it
think
just
I've seen
I
that.
don't know.
Yeah.
Like everybody else is like so perfectly done, and I think anytime someone's in frame, they've done very well to make sure that they're well costumed and everything's like good. But this one, it's just this one extra, and it kills me every time I see him because he's just running around with like a Halloween mask, like a big Halloween mask on. And he's just running around like aimless, and I was like, this is, it always brings me out, and I think it's funny because I have watched all of the behind the scenes as well. Like I freaking adore it, and that's what made me love The Lord of the Rings in general.
Yeah.
I love filmmaking, and I've done filmmaking, and I think it's just such an interesting an interesting behind the scenes, and to feature so much of it as well. It's just so unique and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
But
the best of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I seem to always judge the quality of films by their extras sometimes. Because I've worked in like extras and extras coordination and all this, and it's so interesting to see when you're not looking at the people in frame, if you look outside of the frame, what actually does that look like? Sometimes it's really good, and the majority of all of the Lord of the Rings scenes are all excellent. But just this one guy with his just like giant mask in Osgiliath, it's so funny. I think you see him later again as well on like the Pelennor Fields, but I'm not sure. Mostly though.
Someone mentioned that you can spot a Gondorian wearing a watch in that scene, and I mean, I've watched those films so many times and I've never seen it.
I can't see that. Yeah,
that motherfucker is just trying to make people watch that movie over and over again, and he's probably like every time someone says to him, it's like, I still don't see a guy to watch that. Are you blind? You know?
Watch it again.
Watch it again.
You need to get it in 4K. I think that's the problem. Yeah, you got to get in 4K version.
That's it. You need to get a bigger TV. In fact,
you can't miss it. You can't miss it. Actually,
gotta watch for it.
I don't know if I could ever see that, but that kind of stuff happens a lot, and that I always find myself looking for that stuff now. Like I always look for stuff.
You're
like
aware
that
of
now.
it.
Have you tried not?
You know, I have. It doesn't seem to work that well.
Terrible. Well, you brought up the orcs, and I'd like to talk about them for a moment, actually, because you know, in the first two movies,
we had the Uruk-hai.
It's the Uruk-hai.
We had the Uruk-hai, right? And they were brought in as the level up. You know, the orcs were the little dudes, and the Uruk-hai were the big new motherfuckers who like. It's like, oh, you guys are fucked. The Uruk-hai are coming, and they were so cool and so badass, and even like we met Lurtz, and he was amazing. So then in this one, you're like, but the orcs, and I know like they say in the behind the scenes, they were concerned themselves of like, are the orcs going to live up to how badass we've made the Uruk-hai? But there are no, like, the Uruk-hai are not Mordor. You know what I mean? They're Isengard, so we need.
True.
I think they did an amazing job making the orcs an incredibly scary and formidable.
I don't know why they put themselves in that little, like, if they felt like the orcs weren't going to be enough, I don't understand why they didn't utilize more of the Easterlings as well, just to kind of bolster the army and show how terrifying they are. They are in there. If you
they are. If you freeze frame, you'll see one with a watch.
You'll spot a pike belong to one.
You will
behind all the CGI.
You see them rushing.
It's so strange that
when the trolls come in through the gate.
It's just so strange that they don't really, like, they've showed them in the Two Towers, but it almost looks like they haven't used them at all here.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Would solve that problem.
But
the orcs look great.
I think they did one of the best things about the orcs. Is, again, when I was younger, zombies scared the crap out of me. Nowadays, for some reason, I just love games with zombies. That took one hell of a turn.
What a turnaround! Who would have guessed?
But the orcs are almost in their horde-like mentality, where they win over you because of the fact that there's so many, and they just swarm you. I think it creates this very different threat to the Uruk-hai. The Uruk-hai are very, especially with the Battle of Helm's Deep, they got the formation, they got their ladders, they got their bombs, they got the berserkers. They're so technological. And then the orcs.
The Uruk-hai is like you're fighting the Romans, right?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing, like with their formations and their armor and that kind of thing. And fighting the orcs is just like fighting total barbarians. Like they're just vicious. And there's
I
no.
know they had the siege towers.
And they do have, they do have tactics, of course. Yeah, they do have tactics.
I
But
love
there is
that
sense
aspect of it. I love the way they brought that stuff in there. It was like, I was saying
so
to Pagan that like when these were out, obviously we were in school, and it was using these as points of reference to learn about medieval sieges and stuff like that. Like I got pretty high marks in my essays, basically just writing about Lord of the Rings, just changing the names out.
Yeah, 100%.
I know it's not like bang on historical accuracy, but it did introduce me to siege warfare and things like that in a medieval context. And
I love how many different designs of orcs you see, because like the Uruk-hai, yes, they are varied, right? But they do look very similar.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot of variety with the orcs. There's a lot of makeup, a lot of prosthetics, lots of different armor types that just look so like they just put anything together and they're just heading out to kill. And that's it. And I just think they did a really good job at making like the forces of Mordor something to be really terrified of. And like when you see that scene, like when Denethor looks out and they do the big shot of the 500,000 orcs outside the gates of Minas Tirith, and you just go, I can't even imagine that many individuals anywhere. That is fucking insane.
You can totally see
they're
why
all here to kill you.
Yeah, you can totally see why he's like, we're fucked. There's no hope. Just
abandon hope.
Get yourself out of here. Try and get somebody somewhere else. Like save yourself.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably been in war since he was born.
Yeah,
he's probably lived his
not
whole
like
life
this.
for that.
Not like that.
Not to that extent, no.
Exactly. So I feel like when you're faced with an enemy like that, you're just like, how could you win? Like how could you win? And honestly, without the like little undead army that Aragorn is after mustering,
you're right,
they wouldn't have won.
No, they wouldn't. And that leads to a beautiful scene in Minas Tirith.
Oh,
Pippin and Gandalf are on the other side of like a gate. It's being hit by a troll. Minas Tirith is fucked. Pippin turns to Gandalf and he said, "I never thought it would end like this." He's already accepted. He's like this is it, isn't it? Like we are going to die.
Yeah.
And Gandalf doesn't tell him, "No, don't worry, we're going to win." Or, like he does give him a sense of hope, but it is that like, don't worry, like death isn't the end. Like there's a beautiful thing beyond death. And comforts Pippin in knowing that death is okay and we are going to die. Like it's a beautiful moment, and when how Ian McKellen delivers that is so wonderful. And then to see Pippin go, "Oh, well, that doesn't sound so bad," and it's like, no, it's not. It's fucking incredible.
It is.
To put that moment.
There's some asterisks on that
battle.
though.
What do you mean?
I can't watch that anymore without going, Gandalf, you fucking dick. Because he's describing the Undying Lands, which Pippin will never see.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, no, it's actually grand, like
for me. I hear you. Wait, so what happens to regular old hobbits when?
Fuck knows. I don't know.
Really? Just die,
what happens to any of us, really?
It's like that, is it?
Yeah. It is actually though like that apparently, like all the.
But okay, even if
go to
it is wonderfully delivered.
And even if Gandalf knows that, look, maybe it's not the same for you as it is for me. He's instilling a bit of hope in Pippin.
Yeah, it is a lovely scene though. It is really pretty.
He's comforting him in his moment of death, as far as he's concerned.
It's really sweet.
I find it very difficult to kind of watch those films without thinking about. Now I know it's like not directly his words, but just thinking about what Tolkien was going through in the trenches.
Right.
Like a lot of like the camaraderie with Sam and Frodo, and those words that Gandalf was saying. Like if you ever watched All Quiet on the Western Front, the way the younger soldier became friends with one of the guys that's been out there for a while. He's much older, and he kind of shows him the way a little bit. I kind of see Gandalf as that. It's like, look, I've been through this before, and it'll be grand. Don't worry about it. Even though he knows he's probably gonna die, but it's best to have those words.
Great film.
Yeah.
Great film.
Yeah.
Speaking of actually just because naturally Pippin's with Gandalf and Gandalf is comforting him. Right? He's not comforting any of the soldiers that are holding the gates. He doesn't really comfort the soldiers at all throughout the whole battle. He just tells them stand your ground. But tying in also with the orcs, we were talking about the orcs and how different and varying and terrifying they are. There is an element of fair fucks to the Gondorians to keep fighting when the first thing you see is the 500,000 orcs, the trolls, the Easterlings. There are Uruk-hai there, Mordor Urks.
Yeah.
You have the siege towers, catapults. There's a warg. And then the next thing you see is catapults launching your friends' heads at you.
I know. It's so
Such
sad.
a dark scene.
Yeah, I was like, this
really
is a
dark.
children's movie. You
Yeah.
properly get to see those heads.
No, we're letting children watch it, but it's not a children's movie.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Christmas movie.
It was a Christmas movie. Yeah,
It's a Christmas movie. You got these heads coming at you.
Christmas. Yeah.
And then after that, I don't even think the army actually marches next. I think after that, you hear the wailing of the Nazgul as the fell beasts come down and fucking start taking you out of it.
I know.
Oh yeah, and the music score is just masterful. Like it's.
Wouldn't you fucking hate if that was your day off?
An
Like,
incredible job.
imagine if that was your day off and you got called in. Fuck's sake.
Even if you didn't get called in, what? It's like, no, you can still have the day off. It's like, I live here.
I was going to take a trip down to Peligir. It would have been class time.
Yeah. Oh, class. Yeah. Well,
I
actually,
couldn't get out
I was
for
going
a
to
fucking sea of orcs in front of me.
I was going to go to Osgiliath for groceries, but I guess
I
not.
guess not.
Our day at that
That's
again.
happening.
Yeah, but like,
God's
it's
sake.
also really cool that that the orcs are using the trolls to load up the catapults then to start launching their rocks and they're destroying the city. And you hear again, very anti, like what Chris was saying with Two Towers last year. It was very anti-war movie because you have all the civilians like screaming and they're like casualties of this battle. But one thing I kind of questioned as I got older was because you have the Gondorians released their trebuchets, which is again another introduction to a new form of siege defense, which is the trebuchet, taking out everybody. How did they move the rubble? Because they used the rubble of their city as to load up the trebuchets.
Oh, they would have just gotten a whole bunch of orcs to carry that shit.
It was aliens.
No.
You mean the Gondorians?
Aliens.
The Gondorians use rubble of their own city, load it to the trebuchets, and launch them. And I'm like, Eric, how did they get that so quickly together?
Good point.
Eric, how did they build the pyramids? Aliens.
That's how they did it.
That's obviously the answer. That's in the extended cut.
I love that extended cut where the aliens come down.
Yeah, have you guys not seen that? You guys, come on. Wouldn't the aliens in Lord of the Rings?
That's how they got the tree.
Yeah. They came on the eagles. It's class. I actually love I love that they put the eagles in the Battle of the Black Gate. I know it's obviously from The Hobbit.
I feel like if they didn't do that though, they wouldn't get as much of those. Oh, why didn't they just use the eagles to fly there? I think if that one scene was left out, they probably wouldn't have get that.
But I just think it's awesome when they show up and they take on the fell beasts.
It's a beautiful homage.
It just feels like this moment of like the whole trilogy is coming together. Everything from the trilogy that I've seen is coming into this final sequence. It's nuts. You know what I mean? You got Rohirrim and Gondorians finally together fighting orcs and trolls and there's fell beasts and eagles and a wizard. Everything is there. It's nuts. Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Even and seeing the Rohirrim go up against the Mummicle.
Oh, such a good moment though.
Incredible scene.
Such a good moment.
So good.
So good.
And again, the score there is great because it's really big, it's epic, they're riding, and then the minute they make contact with the Mummicle, the music stops, and all you're hearing is the stomping and the breaking and the spears shattering and
the tactics there are really cool too, because you're kind of looking at them charging, going, "What the fuck are they going to do? They're bollocks." But the methods of taking them out, I think, was really clever. It kind of makes you question whether or not they fought them before. Maybe they did. Maybe we'll see that in the upcoming movie called War of the Rohirrim.
Please
stop. That would be unreal.
Oh, you didn't hear about that? It's coming.
It's happening.
Yeah,
animated apparently.
What?
There's an animated movie called War of the Rohirrim. I believe it's coming to Netflix.
Yeah, and it is Weta Workshop. It's all the same designs. It's
Yeah.
It was announced about 20 years ago.
Oh, sorry.
No, but it is coming.
Oh,
it is coming.
That's exciting. I love that. I love the Rohirrim. Sorry.
Hopefully we'll see something of that in the next year. Because it has been talked about for. I think last year was when it was kind of properly announced, maybe.
So
but
it might be a bit off.
There was something I was going to say. It has escaped me.
Rohirrim, Mumakil.
Rohirrim, Mumakil. You keep going. Say words.
Music,
toaster.
cut out.
Music.
The way they take them out. Tactics.
Aliens.
Tactics. I do love them.
Mary.
No, it's gone.
Pippin.
Maybe it'll come up. Mary.
Yeah.
I haven't talked about Mary at all. Anyone got anything to say on Mary? We talked about the other three.
I thought it was nice that like he became a man of the Rohirrim, but then also, was kind of like shamed by Faramir, and I was like, don't be a dick. And then he rides with Eowyn, and I think that's like it's just it all comes together, Yeah,
like, I think they make a nice camaraderie. Between Eowyn and Mary, and that they're both the characters that are being left out of battle for just who they are.
Absolutely.
But they both have the heart and want to fight nearly more than anyone.
Yeah.
Because they both care so deeply. But I mean, Mary is the one.
She stole his kill, though. I'm just saying.
No man can kill him. Will you stop? What was he going to do?
I mean, he just weakened him.
Come on, he got him.
It wasn't the fucking dictionary that was going to kill the fucking Witch King. Like, come on.
Yeah.
No man can kill him. I don't know what else to say to you. What more do you want?
Yeah, no, it's fact.
She does.
If we're going by the race of man in the context of Middle Earth, then Hobbit isn't also not that.
That's actually true. I was going to say that Mary probably could have killed the Witch King because he isn't a man technically.
But it is. Yeah,
I'm
just fucking around here. It is.
The Hobbit is supposed to be.
Hold on. That's that fucking toxic Éomer talk right there. Mary's not a man. He is a man. He's trying to prove he's a man.
He is a man. But like in the races of Middle Earth,
no, I know. I joke.
Is it not the dagger?
I understand.
Just kind of like straight.
It's the dagger.
It is a barrow
dagger. It's the dagger from the elves. That's what happened.
Oh.
Yeah. Look, it's a nice moment for Eowyn. Don't take it from her.
It's awesome. It's a brilliant moment.
Great moment.
So
it's a girl boss moment.
She in 2 slices beheads a fucking fell beast.
Unreal.
And then takes down a mace.
Yeah.
And takes down a mummic.
Yeah.
Takes a mace to the freaking arm and still fucking survives.
She is one of the best characters in the movie.
She's big.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's unreal. Is there anyone?
She paints a beard on her face and no one recognizes her. It's like some TY fucking high school looking thing.
What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, that's the extended edition again, is it? She doesn't have a fake beard. What are you talking about?
She actually she does dirty up her face to make it look like she's got a bit of a beard going on.
Pretty sure that
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's just dirt from like riding around.
No, she has it.
Put it there.
She has a mask on, you see. So I think maybe it's just the dirt that's hitting her face that isn't covered by a mask.
But she has
a helmet.
When she's talking to Mary when they're camping and she's not wearing the helmet and there's dirt around.
No, her hair is
I don't think so. Because when I was watching this recently and she was just talking to Mary at the camp and she has her hair tucked in the back, right? I said to Adam, I was like, how is she going around with no helmet and her hair tucked in, just being like, no one's going to recognize me?
Yeah.
Like, that didn't make any sense. So I didn't see any.
I didn't see it. I've never seen it. What are you talking about?
All right. That's it.
She wearing a watch?
Now we all have to go watch the movie again. All right.
No.
Oh, no.
To be honest, if we had to place a bet on it, I would nearly bet 100% she does not have a fake beard.
No, it's just like dirt that's kind of seems to follow the shape of a beard. Fucking hell. It's not a fake beard. She's not dressed as Santa or something. I don't know. They don't show it in the movie, but it's just all of a sudden.
Yeah, get out of here.
This is a ridiculous argument. It's not in the film. Let's move on.
Well, what is in the film, Adam, that we haven't yet spoken about that you would like to bring up? Or have we touched on all of the highlights of The Return of the King?
Bullshit.
He's kind of right.
What? Have you looked up a picture?
Yeah.
I thought we had moved on, but I guess we haven't.
I'm sorry that we haven't moved on quite as much, but there is a lot of dirt on her face. However, I will say that I don't.
Yeah, but it's just dirt on her face.
I don't think it's a fake beard. It does. It does kind of look like that, though. It does. I get it. I totally get it. It does
If you
look
look
like that.
at it and squint your eyes right at the right angle, you'll see that it's a beard.
It does kind of look like that, but I do actually think it's probably more what I meant because she has a helmet
No
on.
doubt.
And she's got white patches here and here on her head. So there's like dirt here, dirt on her nose, and then dirt along where she would have a beard.
Yes.
So
right. So Miranda Otto has mutton chops. That's what you're saying?
I'm just saying that she has dirt on her face, and I really didn't think she did. So Eric is technically right.
Okay. Right.
I usually am.
So okay.
Sorry.
Eowyn wears a fake beard in Return of the King. That's what you're saying then.
Why can't she not? All the other Rohirrim riders wear fake beards.
That's true, actually.
I guess that's true.
And not only that, but most of them are female.
Yeah. A lot of them.
I feel like that was the point Eric was making, but yeah.
But anyway.
Thanks.
Yeah. What have we not touched on that that you guys want to talk about? Arwen.
I think it's incredible how they managed to. Obviously, her section in the book is in the appendices. It's not really in the main story, but the way they weaved her in a way that's like, well, she's not with them, but it flows so well, and it's like as if she is communicating with them nearly throughout the entire film. I think that's just incredible, and I love the decision that they made to bring Anduril and leave it till the Return of the King. I think
amazing,
such a clever idea. It would be one of the criticisms that comes from book fans that I do not agree with. I think that was a great decision to leave it up to that moment, because the minute Elrond reveals the sword and her reciting the poetry about reforging it,
good. Yeah. What a great moment!
Amazing.
Oh my god! I remembered what I was going to say. About fucking 10 minutes ago. With the Rohirrim and the Mummicles and the tactics and the words you were saying. All I wanted to say was it's like a medieval fantasy version of the Battle of Hoth. That's all I wanted to say. With the tactics and taking down the big AT-ATs.
Yeah, I see it.
But,
right. The Rohirrim are Ewoks. Is that what you're trying to...
Hoth, Adam.
Hoth. Hoth, sorry. Wrong planet.
Wrong fucking movie, too.
Why do they call it Hoth? Why don't they call it Cult?
Okay. Settle down.
Carl, I'm up after the band.
But yes, back to Arwen and Anduril. I also agree. I think that's an incredible moment, and it works so well because the arc that they decided to give Aragorn in this trilogy is he's reluctant and does not want the throne.
Mm-hmm.
So him finally taking the sword and accepting. As opposed to what? What do you mean?
In the book, he's very like
he's fucking. What's that meme where it's Simba?
He's kind of all for it, right?
Can't wait to be king.
Can't wait to be king.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for my father to die.
Yeah. So like in the book and very much the Bakshi movie, he's very much like, I will go to Gondor, I will become king. You know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of all right. I much prefer this version where it's something he's never wanted. He sees his bloodline is weak. Like he's not good. Humanity is not good enough for this kind of thing. And then he finally accepts the fate, not because he's like, okay, I should be king, but because he's like, if that's what it'll take to save my people, then I will do it.
Yeah.
And it's
so amazing.
It's like he can. They need the dead, obviously, to win. The dead will not accept and join unless the king asks. So in this case, I'm going to have to become king just to get these people to save.
Like, it works so well. The movie is called Return of the King. So for him to finally accept the role in this movie and to get the sword and to become complete is amazing.
It's unreal.
And he gives a pretty good speech too. You know.
I prefer his speech to Théoden's speech at the battle, the Black Gate. Like.
Yeah, I always prefer Théoden's speech, but it's still good.
It's the emotion. It's the emotion of the whole speech, and then just to finally end it with for Frodo, and then he runs.
Yeah,
that moment's amazing.
I actually love that he doesn't exaggerate that moment either.
No,
he doesn't like
he doesn't shout
right,
it.
which is the rest of them do. But he just goes for Frodo, and I'm like, yeah, you fucking legend.
Runs.
Maybe for Sam though, but like whatever.
I love that, like, after he runs, the next two people to run are Merry and
Merry and
Pippin.
Pippin.
The two hobbits then fucking run,
Yeah.
and then everyone else. And then the music swells, and that's just from
Oh,
there.
on your rewatch of that scene, when you're watching that movie again, right?
How many watches am I to look out for?
No, not a watch. Just when you're watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bit where Aragorn is a bit kind of dazed and he's been hypnotized a little bit with the flaring of the eye.
Gandalf does this weird thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just look. Don't focus on Aragorn. Just look behind at Gimli. That's so obviously
Not Gimli.
not Gimli.
Yeah.
It's his face is so funny looking.
Stop it! Stop doing this! No, I will look at Aragorn.
What are you doing?
It's just the way the prosthetic is resting on his face. Just like it's like the jaws just like slack, and he kind of looks a bit like
right.
Oh, what are those little dogs from the not Looney Tunes? The what are they called? Yeah, you know the is it Droopy?
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It actually
looks
looks
like
like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's Snoopy.
Yeah. I fucking love as well the scene. Eric, you brought up that the hobbits run out, and much of the movie is about like the bravery of the hobbits. Really comes out in this movie. All four of them really. The scene where they, it's Aragorn's coronation,
Oh, yes.
Bruh.
Wonderful.
and
Every
they
time.
bow to him, and he says, "My friends, you bow to no one."
Stop.
And everyone bows to the four hobbits, and the Shire music plays in the most beautiful way. That scene's incredible.
Literally,
Like,
this
it's so amazing.
film is just the best bits. I swear to God, like they're just the best fight scenes, the best lore. They've got the best sequences. They got they make you cry. They make you really proud. They make you really happy. Like just that sequence just ends the film so well. I kind of wish that's where that film ended.
Right, yeah, just on that.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the like multiple endings then for the Return of the King? It's definitely something where like people still to this day, if a movie kind of has too many endings, they go, "Oh, it was a bit like Return of the King." Like, it's kind of famous for having so many endings.
I think no one would say that if it wasn't for the amount of blackouts.
Yeah, I think
it's the length of the blackouts between moments. I think if they only had one, which was between there and when they returned back to Shire. Yeah.
Right.
Like if that was the only moment for the blackout. Because you get a blackout just before they get saved on the mountain.
Yeah, and as far as
how much time has gone by?
You're gonna get the credits then, and then it keeps.
It's a little that's
like
a moment of like you're like, oh right, there's more.
Yeah.
It's a bit too long that
they do it too much. 100%. But I also love all of the endings. I think.
Oh, I love them all. Yeah. I love the bit where they're back at the Green Dragon and everyone else is just going about their day and they're just like, right.
Yeah.
We're back now. And then Sam builds up the courage and goes over and asks Rosie.
Yeah, man, he does. He gets her.
Samwise the Brave.
But it is. So, do we all agree then that Frodo does die at the end? That is what it means, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah.
I suppose, yeah. Yeah.
Well, if he goes to the Undying Lands, isn't that the opposite?
But like
the guy is just leveling up.
He leaves
so
the Earth,
much.
if that's what
he's never coming back. Like
he leaves the Earth.
And he can't come back. He can't come back and visit. Like he's gone.
No, it's the last. Yeah, it was the last boat. I don't know what they do with the boat, but it was the last boat.
Yeah, and like even when Gandalf is talking to the hobbits, he says, "Well, this is where my journey ends," and it's not said in such a way of like I can write to you or anything like that. Like it's very much a you will never see me ever again, and life has been fun. I'm dead.
Later, bro.
I'm dead.
This has been good crack.
Pippin, never call me. Don't mention last Saturday.
I absolutely loved when I said "fly, you fools," and you didn't, and I had to fight a Balrog. That was
what
good.
What was
that
crack.
about? I freaking told you guys.
You should have listened.
I love that. There's a picture where it was like the four hobbits, and it was like showing Frodo, and underneath it was like the amount of XP he earned for destroying the ring. Sam 1v1 the spider, Mary kill assist on the Witch King, and then Pippin its kill assist on Gandalf.
Fool of a toque.
That's good.
Pippin. Our little dog is named Pippin. And depending on who you ask, if you ask me, it's after Pippin from The Lord of the Rings. If you ask Ash, it's some other fucking dog from some TV show that I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, it's fucking Lord of the Rings. Shut up about this. What was it? Come look around or something like that, or come outside or something. There's some little dog called Pippin in an airplane that used to fly around. I'm like, come on, get out of here. But it's hilarious that we both agree she's Pippin, but for very different reasons. But yeah, Eric, you like all the endings to Return of the King?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Okay, your favorite thing about the Return of the King, then your absolute favorite thing, and I think then we should wrap up the conversation, unless you feel I've left out anything in particular. That you maybe wanted to talk about that we haven't got to.
Well, there was another very crucial. Well, I wouldn't say it's not crucial, but it's awesome when it happens. When you see the extended edition for the first time, and is the mouth of Sauron.
Oh, that's right.
What an incredible character design.
Yes, freaky and
freaky
hilarious
as fuck
at the same time. He is wild.
But it just kind of opens that up to like, it was a bit weird when you're watching the Two Towers and you're seeing that there's people, like men, that fight for Sauron, and it makes you kind of, as a kid as well, you're kind of questioning. You're like, what does that even mean? Like, it's not orcs, it's not just demons, it's like people. Like, are those people bad? Are they not bad?
Right.
And then you see this mouth of Sauron creature thing, and it just kind of expands what Sauron has at his arsenal.
It also gives without being too obvious with the name, obviously, but it does give in the final sequence a voice to Sauron, like someone to speak on behalf of what is just this ethereal
and almost
eye thing,
almost a boss fight nearly.
Because he doesn't interact with the party at all. Like, we don't get a one-on-one conversation with the villain, really. Sauron is just this ever-present villain, but he's not really there. So it's nice for someone to come out and be like, "You guys are fucked, and we already killed Frodo," and But yeah, the way they do the splits in the mouth are horrible.
I love the black speech that's on his like helmet thing. Whatever it is.
The design's
so
amazing.
Cool.
But that's
cool
like
detail.
That's another character where you're kind of like, yeah, this is very like Christopher Nolan children's movie, like, because it's really
horror,
horrifying because of
it's horrible, yeah.
I could almost feel the pain of my lips,
like,
and it's all around his mouth.
Yeah, it'd be another cool way to do like the Joker or something, wouldn't it? Something like that.
Yeah.
But then I remember seeing the special features to it, and seeing the guy get into costume, and I was like, why is his mouth so small? That's really weird looking. Because they like enlarge it with CGI, and it's so well done that it looks like he genuinely has a huge freaking mouth. Yeah.
It's very good. I remember thinking, why are they putting that guy in a costume? He's already terrifying.
He's a great actor. I think he's doing quite a lot of things, right?
He's brilliant. Yeah, he's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, he's good. And I love that Aragorn's response is to chop his head off.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it sends a clear message.
It does. It's Aragorn's
one of those moments
move, and he's had enough of it. He's had enough of it. That concludes negotiations.
Yeah, I like the fact that there's like a politician that works for Sauron, essentially. It's something that is very present in the books, especially the first one, where they do actually send out emissaries to like spread the word of Sauron.
And like Eric's favorite thing is the Nazgûl saying, "Open up in the name of Mordor."
Well, that's what they did. They were essentially politicians that went around. And it's a bit like the messenger from 300.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just gives you that sense of like how he has recruited the likes of the Easterlings to Rohirrim, with the types of things he would have promised or things he would have scared them with. Because obviously the way he's talking about Frodo, and that like he tends to use fear to manipulate others.
Yeah.
Not our boy Aragorn.
No. Not our boy.
He doesn't give a shit. He does not believe it. He will not.
No.
He will not believe it. Yeah, so look, to wrap up the conversation
Hmm.
on Return of the King, because we could talk forever. You could talk about every scene, every character. I mean, like Last
Every
Gimli,
special
everyone,
feature.
every
Every
single
special feature.
thing about the movie. Like you could go so much deeper, so much further, and hopefully people will. Hopefully you'll jump in the comments, share your thoughts, share some fun trivia, whatever it is, and we can talk further on it and continue the discussion
Please do.
in the chats. We'd love that. But what is your favorite moment from the Return of the King? Which is difficult.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because it's like, I
There's
could
so many
summarize an
different-
entire moment, but like it's like
Yeah.
greedy in it. So
I
maybe
do love when Eowyn like kills the Witch King.
Yeah,
That's fair. That's fair.
Amazing.
Wonderful, where she like rips off the helmet and then kills him. I just think that's just
And
one of the
shows her
most
fake
pivotal
beard.
moments. I love it. I think it's really cool. And like thereafter, like shortly after, is like the King Fed and death scene as well, which is just really well done.
heartbreaking.
But I don't know. I really like the culmination of her story, and like that was where it peaked really, and it's good.
Not to segue too much, if you guys ever get a chance to play Lego Lord of the Rings, there's some
I've
great
been
jokes
trying to
in
get it though. I can't get it.
I'll give it to you.
Okay.
I have it on 360 and you can play it on an Xbox Series X then.
Oh, nice.
There's some great jokes in it. One of them being when Theoden taps the tops of the spears,
No.
they get cut off, and they're all like looking at their spears like. And then when he's like, "My body is broken," Eowyn picks up the top half of his body. So yeah, there's some great jokes. But anyway, I was just reminded.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But that's what I think. One of the
Diversion. Yeah. Legolas gets one line per movie.
Yeah.
That's all he gets.
Yeah.
Eric, your favorite scene sequence from Return of the King?
Has to be. It's a very long sequence, but I have to. It is the whole thing because everything is culminating together. And you brought it up. It's not the beacons. The beacons would be close though. It's such a good sequence. So it's amazing.
What's wrong? Sorry, just before you say, what is wrong with this guy? Don't get me wrong. The beacons is a great scene. Shut the fuck up about it though. I swear to God, if I come around to you and you say that's your favorite scene in the entire Return of the King, I'm gonna lose my mind. Eric, what's your favorite sequence in Return of the King?
You brought it up earlier. Actually, it's when the troll is knocking down Aragorn, and you have the music and it's swelling. You're cutting between that to the Mount Doom, and the music is building. Because I think as well, it was in cinema one time, and I remember I got off work early and I went in to join you and one of your friends. So we were watching it.
Oh yeah,
there was a couple sitting in front of us, and they were showing the movie one day after another, and she's never seen him. He was bringing her to it, and so we got to just see like her excitement. And I think it was really building at this scene because she'd never seen him before, and this was her first time. And they were all extended edition in cinema. That scene is just so good because the music, the timing, the pacing. You're just like, yes, get there.
Yeah. It's good, and you are getting frustrated with Gollum. You're like, fuck off, Gollum.
Oh.
But I also love Gollum, and yeah, he's an incredible character.
Yeah, it's good.
Complicated character. Adam, your favorite? What's your favorite sequence in the Return of the King?
I could get greedy and just say the entirety of the Pelennor fields, but a particular moment in Pelennor would be the when the Mumakil arrive, because I remember seeing it going, oh yeah, because we got a little clip of them in the Two Towers and we saw them in Ithilien.
Yeah.
And it just seeing them, you're like reminded about the size of and just the amount of them too, and you just think the Rohirrim are fucked in that moment. But it's just such an incredible, almost extended version of the Pelennor Fields battle. Then it's like you get more of it.
100%. Yeah, my favorite. I mean, there's so many highlights in the movie, incredible moments throughout. My absolute favorite, as we mentioned before, is the arrival of the Rohirrim, and then they're right into battle.
So good.
Yeah,
just like that moment's one of the hypest moments in cinema history. I think it's absolutely incredible, and it's earned. Like the trilogy builds up to that in a way. You know what I mean? It's like that moment on its own is great, but if you've seen all the movies, that moment feels so like a culmination of the journey we've been on so far, as well as the rest of the movie. Then so to actually finish this off, then we started this episode talking about the beginning of the movie. Smeagol, Gollum, the prologue. Gollum plays such a pivotal role in this movie. That's why it starts with him. What I want to ask is, do you guys pity Gollum, feel sorry for Gollum, or how did you feel about Gollum's, the end of his arc, I suppose? Pagan, I'd love to come to you first. I feel like you got no time for this guy. Fuck this motherfucker.
Yeah, I kind of hate him, but also I do understand it though, because Andy does such a great job of Smeagol and Gollum, and Smeagol versus Gollum. And we see such a great sequence, I think, in the Two Towers, and then we see it again, kind of a little touch on that in the water of the Return of the King, and where he's softened between the two and he's talking between the two of them. I really do feel for Smeagol. I think Smeagol really is a good character, and he wants to be good. He's just too heavily influenced by the ring. So I do pity him in that way. Gollum obviously is the other personality for Smeagol, and I don't obviously pity him because he's a dick. But he's basically the ring personified in him. Like, he's the desire for the ring personified. And he's just stronger than Smeagol, and it's a bit sad because he's obviously... Smeagol is literally so weak that he had to split. Do you know what I mean? Like, he like his character, like as a hobbit and everything like that, right? Is like, obviously he's like a sweet person, but he's just like such a sweet and innocent person that he had to develop an inner villain to control him. So like, there's still part of his innocence left. So I do feel sad for him.
Some people actually theorize that Gollum is the ring's personality, and therefore everyone gets Gollum.
That's interesting.
I think Smeagol is always. I think he's always been that, and that the ring has amplified it.
Oh, okay.
You think it's more like he's more like, say, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker?
Yeah.
Where it's like, this was kind of always in you, and it just took something to tip you over the edge to bring out the real you, kind of thing.
All it takes is one bad day.
Pretty much. Because
Interesting.
Because when he's with Deagle, he does say, "Give it to us, my love."
That's actually, you are so right. That is very true.
Yeah, very good point.
Very true.
Holy fuck.
You're right, actually.
My mind's been blown.
I don't pity this guy. He's a sociopath. He's psychotic.
Yeah, there's elements of
Lock
him.
him up.
Like, there's elements of him that you could absolutely pity, but I think at the end of the day, I think there is a villainous streak through Smeagol anyway.
So do you think Sam was kind of right the whole time? Obviously, he was in one way, where it's like, look, the ring has too much of a hold on this guy and he's fucking dangerous. But like, do you think where Sam was like, you don't see it, do you? He's a villain. Like, do you think Sam is bang on?
I think both, like, they're both correct. I think there is elements of him that, like, I think Smeagol has shown that when nice, he can be nice. He can be a friend, and he probably wanted that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just like a bit like a wild animal that, although it wants a cuddle every now and then, it could kill you. It could be in it.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. This is cool. I didn't know it was going to go this deep, but I love it. Eric, what do you think? Have you pity for Gollum? Do you think he's really a good guy deep down, or what do you think?
For Gollum, no. Absolutely not.
Right.
And Smeagol, his voice is so irritating. Like, I mean,
dead,
he'll make a racket. Like, everyone in Mordor will hear him.
Yeah.
You should tie him up and leave him.
No, that burns. It freezes.
No, I never had. I thought he was interesting. I
Yeah.
thought he's entertaining, but I don't ever have pity.
Right.
Especially not towards the end as well. Yeah.
I think the only time they're kind of like, "Oh, poor guy," is actually in The Hobbit, when Bilbo is about to kill him, and you actually see a tear fall down.
I love that shit, man. Fucking love that shit.
He's sadistic.
Yeah, I hear you.
No, I love the whole, like, because I'm just thinking about the whole arc of it. The way, like, Gandalf was saying in the mines that about pity that stayed Bilbo's hand, and that he believes that there's a greater power that made that happen, because he just knew that there's, like, Gollum will play a role here somehow, for good or evil. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
But it's just like the idea of
Yeah,
death
100%.
is going
He knew, yeah.
the whole way through.
I don't know why I feel like it's so
That
metal anytime
quote
someone
still only
quotes Lord
counts
of the
as
Rings,
one.
you know? Yeah. So, look, I think everyone has raised really good points, and I kind of agree with everyone in a way. Adam has raised a really good point about Smeagol's
Personality.
possibly inherent like psychopathic behavior deep down anyway, and then the ring amplifies what's maybe deep down inside him as it is.
Like Gollum
I mean-
could have been his own invention to help him kind of comfort his decisions, because I know even deep in the book, like I mean he did murder people for food. I think he killed children. Like he's not a good dude, and I think Gollum is probably his own invention to make him feel okay about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like I think Smeagol had to split himself to make that inner evil, so that he can still keep part of his innocence.
Yeah,
that there's still part of him that
and
would
put the blame on Gollum.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he does kill Deagle really quickly compared to everyone
very
else.
quickly.
Yeah, which is what,
everyone
which is what
else
Adam
are
was
like
saying. Yeah.
years.
But I
years
still
of the
love
ring or
that
whatever.
it is somewhat open to interpretation. Though.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like you can read that, but another reading on it is that he was an innocent, kind of maybe slightly like easy to manipulate character, like easily led astray, right? And that in that interpretation, what Gollum is the ring personified, and as a result, Gollum is the villain of the Lord of the Rings, because Gollum is the ring.
The ring, yeah.
Manifesting as an actual character, and you know, kind of like manipulating Smeagol to be like, get that back and kill him, and like, and it kind of show, and something that Pagan touched on, that everyone could get a Gollum. I might not call it Gollum, but that everyone could get that if they spent enough time with this thing.
Bilbo showed that.
Yeah, I think Eric
it would
said
be
that.
an identity that the ring created. Therefore, it is the ring essentially. But I think all those interpretations are really interesting, and ultimately, Gollum is a villain.
He
and
is.
Unfortunately, for as good as Frodo is, totally irredeemable, I think.
Completely. Would agree.
I don't think he could have ever been. And I think I think the movie, unfortunately, like states that too. And that's the tragedy of it. Because even when the ring is destroyed, they're in a carriage at the end of the movie, and Bilbo asks Frodo, do you have that ring by any chance that I gave you? Do you remember that? And he's like, oh no, I lost it. I got pity. I would have liked to have held it one last time. It's like, it'll never let you go. So even with the ring destroyed, if they were then like, come on now, Gollum, it's gone. Let's be friends.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been the same.
He would never get over it.
No.
He's forever. So I think they do a beautiful job. He's a tragic character. It's terrible, but he's irredeemable.
Totally.
But maybe you guys disagree. And that's where we'd love you guys to get in touch. Let us know, what do you think of Gollum? What do you think of the Return of the King, the Lord of the Rings trilogy? What is your favorite sequence from the Return of the King? Let us know for its 20th anniversary. This has been our longest episode in a while, but it's only right that we did an extended edition of the Brothers
Love
Take.
it.
And I'm so happy to have Pagan join us once again.
Thank you.
Make sure to check the description where you can follow Pagan. But Pagan, you want to shout out some of your socials or some place where people can check you out?
You absolutely can. I have a gaming channel on YouTube and it's Pagan Plays. I have a reaction channel on YouTube and that's Pagan Reacts. And my Instagram is pagan_plays. Twitter is Pagan Plays. So fairly consistent across the board, really. But there you go.
Fair
you can
play
find me
to
in the
you. You're
try
on the
channel.
ball.
Yeah.
You're on the ball. So make sure to follow Pagan and make sure to follow us. If you're watching us on YouTube, jump down in the comments, share your thoughts, give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring the notification bell, all that good stuff. And if you listen to us on audio platforms, you can also touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twixter at The Brothers Take again to give you your take on one of the greatest, sorry, did I say one of? The greatest movie trilogy of all time. The Lord of the Rings, all 3 movies are now officially over 20 years old. What a fucking crazy ride it's been. Share your memories, and thank you so much for checking out this week's episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for having me.